I just did not want to have any debt. I was a proud person. and I didn't really understand that if I used my money before it was due, it was not doing anything, for me.
You're listening to Property Investor Tales, Stories from the Front Yard. Here's your host, Tabitha Bright.
Hello and welcome to Property Investor Tales, Stories from the Front Yard, where I get to speak to property investors from around Australia about their investing journey. My name's Tabitha Bright and I'm the head of coaching here at Positive Real Estate, where we help people build wealth through property. With over 8,000 clients across Australia and New Zealand, there are some incredible stories to tell, which, hopefully make your investing journey that little bit easier and will inspire you along the way. So my guests today are the lovely Yogeeta and Ash. They've been mentoring clients for around 7 years, since 2015. And when they first joined, they had a fear of debt that was hobbling them moving forward. They fast recognized the importance of education and also the keystone of feeling happy and fulfilled, giving back. So enjoy this conversation with Ash and Yogeeta. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. So today I have two of our fabulous clients, Ash and Yogeeta, and they're here today to share some of their stories about their investing so far. So welcome Ash, welcome Yogeeta.
Thank you, Tab.
And it's a big ask to get to ask our clients to share their stories. People, I think, by nature tend to be private, particularly when it's around investing. And so, we really do appreciate people sharing some of their stories. And we're going to talk a little bit today. Yogeeta, I think if we start with yourself, we were having a bit of a chat as we were talking about, what this entailed today. And I was saying that I was interviewing another client of ours who was explaining how he felt really skeptical and concerned when his wife literally dragged him along to an information night and a meeting with a coach, and he didn't want any part of it. He said he sat the whole time with his arms crossed and his, but through a process, he felt more comfortable. And I think I've got in the notes here because, you filled out some information for me, which is awesome, that you were concerned about debt, about missed opportunities with mindset. Tell me about all of that. Tell me about the journey from the beginning.
So I was one of those people that was so scared of debt that when a bill arrived in the mail, and this is, going back about 20 years, yeah. I would take the bill and pay it straight away. Even though it was due maybe 2 weeks or 2 months or a month, I would pay it straight away. Wow. I just did not want to have any debt. I was a proud person. and I didn't really understand that if I used my money before it was due, it was not doing anything, for me. So just did not get that at all.
So when we talk about investing, she said no investment.
Right.
She was scared of that. She didn't want to have anything, just, nothing at all. She was...
years ago, I had the opportunity to buy a house next to where we were living, and it was going on market for $180,000. I had just started working. I could totally afford it, rent it out, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 1 car, big block of land. Today, that house would be worth close to 800 to $1 million.
That's a
And,
big
and I did not buy
cost.
that. And after we got married, and I said to Ash, I could have bought that house, and I showed him the house.
Huge piece of land. It was just a beautiful, yeah. Oh, those things.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's this cost of opportunity, and in the moment, the fear can stop you from taking advantage of that opportunity, which is obviously what you can now actually quantify, which is even more frustrating, right? Because you go 180 versus 800, that's 720 or whatever, or 680, whatever the maths is. I can't get it at the moment, but whatever the maths is, it's that quantifiable amount that hurts so much as well.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I was on the other extreme, and I was living in New Zealand, and I just wanted to become a millionaire as quickly as possible.
So how did you two even like?
At the age of 20, I remember 25, we sat with one of our friends on New Year's Eve, and we were all sharing our goals, and they said, "What do you want to do?" "I want to become a millionaire." Just like that. It takes a lot of work to get there. And we're not nowhere near that, but it's this is where PRE comes in.
Yeah.
And
and Sam always says that the first million's the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Because then the amount that you have to double and triple it by halves every time. So it's just getting that first million that's the hardest. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's around mindset as well, because it is getting comfortable with debt. How do you feel about debt now?
She's comfortable.
Look, I'm comfortable, and I understand what the money's doing for me. What's good debt? The importance of offset accounts, and like everything goes into our offset account. Like I would sometimes say to Ash, no, we're not buying that now. We'll just wait till, we just need to get this out of the way or whatever. So I've improved for the good.
This is what Sam always said, lazy money. Money needs to be doing something. So, even if it's an offset account, it's paying down debt. Interest, you're paying less interest. And this is the beauty about PRE. We learn so much. It's all about education.
Yeah.
It's just and one of the main things we've learned is you need to have a 6-star team around you. And Sam and Jason are always saying that, even our coach, all the coaches are saying that in a 6-star team. That's just fundamental for us. And this is one of the things we've learned.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant, right? And I'm a numbers person.
Fantastic.
And last year we hired, we brought into our team a financial planner. And I thought, I don't need a financial planner, but we listened to, but Jason's like, get a 6-star team.
Yeah.
We got a financial planner, and Anthony, just this amazing guy. I learned so much from him about super. So,
but I must say, Karen had to almost push him to say, no, you need a financial planner. He'll just, maybe you know everything, but just, you
never know anything, everything. This is where PRE comes in. This is all about education.
Yeah.
Amazing. And a background in finance, I thought I knew everything about numbers, but no, you learn a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's really good to hear. And it's good to hear from an accountant's perspective too, because often we do get caught up in what we know. And I think, Yogeeta, you were saying before that, that at one point you were proud about paying your bills on time or paying them early and not having debt. And we have these ideas about who we are and how we see ourselves and how we present to the world. And sometimes I used to be the same. I didn't want to admit that I didn't know anything. If somebody said, oh, you know about this, right? I'd be like, yeah, then frantically Google it. But I have no shame now in saying I don't know something. If a client says to me, oh, Tab, what do you think of this latest ruling? I'll be like, well, we're both about to learn something. But I think the fantastic thing about the PRE team is that, and I hope you don't mind me touting our own expertise, but if we don't know the answer, we'll go find out, because within the 6-star team that can be property management, accounting, property deals, finance, financial planning, I got to think of them all of those different areas that you need as part of your team, then it's all of the people that they know in the industry. It's, it's the developers that the acquisitions guys know that share something that they know about their industry that we can then tell clients. It's the accountants with the special tips, the financial planners that specialize in an area. And I think that's really valuable. And so how did you overcome, because Yogeeta, you were saying that you didn't want to invest. How did you guys manage that? Because one of the stresses we see, and just shift on from this question if it's too personal, but often when it's couples and they have different ideas around money, it can cause stress, right? And I don't know if that was the case for you guys or you navigated it beautifully. Tell me a little bit about that.
So for me, Ash didn't force me. He knew what he wanted, but he gave me enough time. And and I think the perfect thing with PRE was, and this is like, we joined around 2015, 16.
Yep.
Every month there was 2-hour session.
Yeah.
Where a monthly 2-hour session. Not only did we have our coach there or guest speakers, there were other people and
other clients,
clients, and they would say, "Oh, we've done this or we've done that," and so I learned from the speakers. I learned from the coach. I learned from people around me, and there were people that said, "I feel the same thing, but I got over it." And it was learning from those like-minded people that really got me into it. And then each time if I learned something and I wasn't sure or I had a question, Ash was always around, having that finance background.
Perfect.
He was just amazing.
So
but
to put it in another way, so the way we got around it, that question, is education. Is you can't, you got to dive into it and learn as much as possible, and clarify all your doubts, and that's how you get over it. Otherwise the fear will, analysis paralysis. That's
absolutely.
That's one thing. And I wasn't, being an accountant, I overanalyzed everything.
So the flip side, being the expert,
this is where the coach comes in.
Your super coach.
And while we were learning, like when I was learning, he was patient with me. But when I had learned, I was like, why aren't you moving? We got to move. We got to action this. We got to implement this,
It sounds like a match made in heaven. You brought up an interesting comment about education, because I've coached people in investing for 15 years in February. I hit my 15-year anniversary with PRE, Positive Real Estate. And the thing that scares me the most when it comes to clients coming to us as a coach is somebody that says, oh no, I don't need to know that. Just you tell me what to do. I trust you. As soon as someone says that, I'm like, whoa, Nelly, I don't know if this is going to work. Because what somebody is really saying when they say that is that they're abdicating the responsibility of understanding their money. And so when something inevitably, because there's always a challenge with property, right? It's never smooth sailing all the way. There's always, a tenant issue, or the bank does something stupid, or whatever it is. As soon as there's a challenge and that person trusted without understanding, then it's easy for stuff to go sideways really fast.
Yeah, I remember early days when we, not only before PRE, we used to go to a whole lot of seminars. We spent so many webinars and talks, and we'd come back and we research whether that was a fact or bullshit.
Ah,
and just
that's
or
great.
was it a sales pitch?
Yeah.
And this is where PRE stuck with us, that there were no pressure, and we verified our facts. And yeah, just
and no one forced us. It was all about education.
Yeah.
So that is important. I think when we are going through the process, you ask the questions, and you go back and verify it.
Yeah.
Initially, we did that until we built that faith and trust in PRE.
Yeah.
And also, I think, I remember in the early days, at one stage I thought, no, Ash can go to it, I don't have to go. And our coach said, no, you both have to be there. You are both involved in this. And, I mean, he kept dragging me, but having someone else say that too really enforced it for me, that it was important for me to know what was going on.
It really is. And it makes such a difference. Like sometimes, 100%. And sometimes we have clients that will say, listen, my partner supports me 100%, but for whatever reason, they're not going to be involved in this. And we will take them on, but it's a much harder coaching journey, generally speaking, unless that person really is hands off. Sometimes you get, people that have careers that they just need to focus on, or they might be doing, I had one client whose partner was doing an MBA, and so they were just like, smashing out the hours. But it can once again cause challenges when people don't understand what's happening with their money. And an interesting thing we found, it would have been a number of years back now, probably around the time you joined, 2015, because when the acquisitions team go out and locate the deals and they put it together, so they get, let's say they get 40 deals on the table for that they're looking at. And out of that, by the time they go through their due diligence, only a portion of those will actually come to fruition for you guys. And we found that the feedback from clients was that they enjoyed the investment reports. That was great, but they still felt lost during doing due diligence. And I said to Sam and the team, I said, guys, I think we need to put a pros and cons in of the deal. So what's great about the deal and what are the challenges with the deal? Because every property will come with its pros and cons. There's never a deal that is 100% only ticks, right? There's always something. Yeah. And as soon as we did that and we took the property consultants, the coaches, and then the clients through the upside and the trade-off of the deal, it was amazing how much more comfortable people felt with the deals in the process. And so it's that thing about what you were saying before about the facts need to be verifiable, right? And if you try to just go, oh, this is the good stuff over here, don't worry about that over there. This is the good stuff. Yeah. Look this way. It leaves people with a I don't know if distrust is too hard, but it means that people feel that they still need to work harder to really understand it. Have you guys done deals through Positive Real Estate? Have you found your own deals? Tell me a little bit about that.
So it was my first property in New Zealand, when I purchased my first property. My due diligence was, okay, this is a block of land. So I drove by. I drove there. I drove the area. That looks nice. This is a good area. Done. And they gave us the numbers. The numbers were the numbers they gave me was they were every year it was going up 10%. I said, oh wow, that's great. There was not.
I'd do that.
I wanted to be a millionaire. this is 10-year deal, I'm going to be done. And the property actually was not growing at all. The market was not growing at all. It was just, this is early 2000s. It was horrible. And I didn't know what due diligence was. And this is what we learned in PRE, how to do due diligence. Ask those questions, you know.
Yeah.
Don't just believe what someone else is telling you.
No.
Verify. And this is where, you know, we've got resources available with from PRE. You got Sam, you got Jason, you got the coaches, all the coaches. You've got the fellow investors to talk to. It's just microverbs, core logic.
Microverbs, SQM research. There's a whole raft of we can look up stuff on RP data for you and send you the reports.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a whole raft of free data, which is really useful, plus stuff that Positive can get their hands on for you, which is really cool.
And as you know, normal people, we wouldn't be able to invest in all these different packages and things that cost so much money. PRE does all that work for us, you know. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, no, they really have honed and developed the acquisitions team. They're doing an amazing job. And some of those guys, like John Tobin, who's one of our head acquisition guys, one of the senior team, he's been with PRE, I think, since he was about 17 or 18 years old.
Wow.
And he's literally done all of the apprenticeship, I would say, under Sam, under you know, some of the best developers in Australia. And then he went off for a bit and tried the real world, we call it, outside of PRE. And he left us for a short period of time, and then he's come back and he's been with us ever since. So, you know, seeing these guys develop, and the more and more levels of diligence, their contacts in the market, the depth that they go to find the deals, you know, they're always improving, which is really awesome to see.
I remember one of the mentoring sessions, and I'm not sure if it was John or someone else who had come to it, and said they had camped overnight to get pieces of land. And, you know, we laughed about it, but, you know, it's amazing that PRE goes to those lengths.
They literally, I can't remember who that was that camped overnight, but yeah, they did. They had a number of the PRE team camped overnight to make sure that our clients got to put their name down on some land lots that were going really fast. That was the boom in Sydney, I think. Whereas now, you know, we're looking at those same boom conditions in Melbourne and, I mean, Sydney's going nuts too, but Melbourne and Brisbane in particular. And so tell me, we've touched on the due diligence side of things. We've touched on, you know, having that analysis paralysis, not the knowledge. And then as soon as that got alleviated, that enabled you guys to take some action. We've talked about, very briefly, we've touched on making money work for you, so no lazy money. And so you've been taught some really good habits around money, so offset accounts. What else has Karen got you doing? Because Karen's your coach, your super coach, as we've decided to call her today.
She told us not to have a credit card because when APRA came in and serviceability was an issue, she told us, and within a month we got rid of it.
Perfect. Fantastic, because that impacts what you can borrow, and so your investing journey. So you got rid of a credit card. Anything else? Any other top tips around money management?
Listen to the noise.
Don't listen to the noise.
The news.
Oh, the news.
News is the noise.
Yeah, there's some truth in that.
Driver, your friend is saying, "Oh, don't invest in." You got to get the facts. The real
That's
facts.
true. It is true. So we call them the barbecue stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cousin's uncle's brother's son that invested in property once upon a time and had a disaster. So don't ever invest in property. That story.
Yeah. That's the major one. And the other one that really Karen drove into us is if you've got a problem, talk to the coach. And they may have resources that we don't have.
100%.
So that, from that point of view, with when you join PRE, you're never ever alone. There's always resources available.
Tell you what, if I could print that out and frame it in gold, I would. Like, talk to your coach. Often we'll have a client that will have a problem, and for some reason I don't know if they've just got stressed about it and put their head in the sand and they haven't wanted to deal with it, and we could have solved it in 2 seconds flat for them. So always, because it's that old thing, a problem shared is a problem halved, right? And it's and we've got our contracts team, our property management team, all that 6-star team that have, and the contracts team have all the legal knowledge, and if they don't know, they've got legal people they can tap into. Even for clients that have done their own deals, because you don't have to buy a property through Positive Real Estate. You can go out and do your own.
That's the beauty of PRE. No, as Yogeeta said, no one's forcing you to do anything. No. You do your own due diligence, and if you've got a strategy you set with your coach, and you've set a strategy, and you just follow the strategy.
And I think the other thing that really, we got a lot of use out of was the fact that it was not just about money. It was not just about investing.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, we'd do goal setting. We'd have speakers like Scott Harris. He's done seminars with Tony Robbins. So and Marcus Pierce.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, we love Marcus. He's part of our team now.
Talk to us about look after yourself, your long-term,
your exceptional life.
Your blueprint.
So and we've had Trevor Bell talk to us about bucket lists, and we sat there that night after the session and wrote our own things that we had done, things we didn't do. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we can't do some of the travel that we want to do, but that's okay.
The other thing that attracted us was the schools that Jason.
Yes, Room to Read.
Giving back.
Room to Read and building the schools. And I think for us, it was giving back. And being there and to have a company that does that. And now with all the carbon emissions and it's just fantastic. It's almost like our values are aligned with the values of PRE.
No, they do an amazing job, and it goes right throughout the company. It's quite interesting. It's like when we first started, Room to Read was the primary one. Then which is, for people that don't know Room to Read, basically it's about educating, in particular young women around the globe, making sure that people have access to good quality education. So building schools, libraries and so forth, which we still do and have a major commitment to. And then we have Bars Scrub, the Bars Scrub initiative, where Sam, which is driven, this is Sam's passion, the Bars Scrub stuff, but I know Jace loves it too. So that's all about the environment and replanting rainforest and so forth. So, because that's awesome, because both Jason and Sam, who are two of the directors of the company, there's Shay, Jason's wife, that's obviously one of the owners as well, and they're all into giving back in a major way. And even for us as team, as staff, we're given an extra day off every 3 months, every quarter we can take a day off for a giving back day. So we can go and so we get paid leave to go and volunteer or do something meaningful in our community, whatever we're personally passionate about.
That is
which
awesome.
is which is massive. It's absolutely massive. And so it's really fantastic to be involved, like you said, and it's that ethos, because I remember my daughter, when I first started investing in property, she used to do a lot of work with Amnesty International, and she said to me, Mum, whatever you do, she said, you can't just get up there and teach people how to buy Ferraris. I said, is that what you think I do? She said, no. She said, you have to teach people about giving back. You have to teach people about contribution. And what I've noticed, it's that thing around happiness, right? You look at any of the studies, there's books on it. You just have to Google it. Anything from the minimalists to the happiness quotient, I think it is. And they talk about that it's not about being happy, it's about fulfillment. And you get fulfillment by contributing and giving back in some way. And I think introducing that concept when people are chasing material stuff, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but you soon realize that you get the stuff and then it becomes quite meaningless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, is there anything? Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just remembered that the other thing we usually do with Karen is early in the year, we schedule a whole year of meetings, must meet once a month or once every 6 weeks, just to bounce off ideas. And she'll ask us, how's things, what's the one-on-one. This is what attracted us with PRE, the one-on-one coaching as well.
Yeah.
You ask your question, any doubts you have, and she will give some feedback. And if she doesn't know, a lot of times she'll say, look, I'll find out.
I mean, we've talked about filing with her.
Yeah.
About what, sorry?
Filing.
We had so much paper we want to get rid of.
And she said, oh, I did this and so did that. And, so it's not just about investments. It's about, it's like a whole package, with beautiful ribbons and balloons and everything.
You choose your wrapping. Yeah. Oh, I've just lost you, I think. Sorry, bear with me. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. The mic just dropped out a little bit.
Okay, so Karen's got her filing down to one box, and that's our goal. We've got about 10 boxes in the garage.
Oh.
All the years of paperwork.
Accountant.
Wow.
So so those must bounce off ideas with coach. Coach is so important.
Yeah. I think in the early days I used to do a coffee club or a lunch and learn purely on filing and managing your properties. And it was one of our most popular ones because, I mean, this is going back 15 years before there were, really good internet applications like Xero and, but people would just have boxes, like you said, boxes of stuff. And that can be an expensive way of doing it.
Yeah.
And so wrapping up, I guess if you guys could go back in time and talk to young Yogeeta, young Ash, what would you like to be able to say? What top tips would you give the young you guys?
You go first.
I would say start early.
Yeah.
Start early. If she had purchased the property 20 years ago. Yeah. So the first one is start early. You must set goals.
Yeah.
If you don't have a goal, it's like a ship without a rudder. It's just gonna go anywhere.
100%.
Yeah, those are the two main tips. And
just be ready to learn.
That's it.
Just keep learning because we've been with PRE about 7 years now. And it's like there's so many times we have that aha moment where we go, oh, we didn't know that. Oh, we've learned this, or oh, that's interesting. It's just it's really made us better individuals through the learning and just
That's awesome.
and sharing. I think learning and sharing.
Don't be afraid to make decisions, take risks, calculated risks.
Yeah.
That's the key, the calculated risks. This is where PRE comes in, making informed decisions.
Yeah. Yep. Understanding your risk and being able to mitigate it. Yep.
Yeah. It's all about education. Absolutely. It's all about, I've been saying that. It's all about education.
That's the theme for today, isn't it? It's education.
And PRE has been, it's been the best journey that we went on, and I reckon we'll be part of it till, that's our legacy. That's what we will give to our nephews or, to our families. That, being good, looking after each other, being exceptional in anything that you do.
Yeah.
You look at Jason and Sam and you guys. You guys do it so well.
And all the coaches with you, Tab, of course.
They're a good bunch, aren't they?
Good role models.
And I think initially, we just had our coaches that we saw. Whereas when COVID hit, the whole world almost ended for everyone. But for PRE, every 2 weeks on a Monday night, we would have webinars, we don't do anything else on Monday nights. Monday nights are PRE nights.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. And we look really forward to it too, because it's given us an ability to connect with our clients way beyond, it doesn't involve Sam, Jason, myself at times, hopping on 10 flights in a month and staying in hotels and missing out on our family. We get to connect with everybody, and
it's been a blessing in disguise, isn't it, COVID?
It's been an interesting one, hasn't it? It's like the yin and the yang of it all. There's been some amazing stuff that's come out of it and some tough stuff for people.
Even when we had those monthly face-to-face, we hardly missed any over the years. I think over the years we missed 1 or 2 of the face-to-face, and the webinars
that's in total in the last 7 years.
Wow.
And
it's about education.
and he's so inspired. I'm going to share something that he doesn't talk about. So just before COVID hit, maybe 6 months before that, he decided that he was going to give back. And the way to give back was to go and help Karen on the information nights that they ran. And he and another person from the PRE, Douglas.
Oh, yes, I know Douglas Lumsden.
They used to go to people, and the first thing Ash would say to them is, if one of the partners was a bit, not interested or anything, he'd say, my wife was like that. And then he got me to come to one of the nights, just to say it, or at the mentoring. So the information night would be one night, and then the next night would be the mentoring night. And if they were invited to the mentoring night, then Ash would go and introduce them to me and say, go and talk to them. Tell them what you went through.
That's very kind of you to do that.
Change. Yogeeta is a big change from where she was and where she's now with, and what education has done to her, the knowledge from fear to, fearless, I guess, as far as investing goes. Well,
it's interesting. I think because my journey with positive real estate started a similar way to you. I used to just volunteer. So I was a client and I was passionate about what I was doing, and I wanted everyone else to understand what PRE were offering. So I'd pop along and I'd say to Jace, I'll come and do registration for you. I'll chat to clients afterwards. And it just went from there. It's amazing when you find something that really works for you and you share it from a good place. It's amazing what sort of opens up, opportunity opens up, what unravels. Will be interesting to see where you guys end up.
And
Alrighty.
the friendships you form as well.
Yeah, along the way.
The
Sorry,
friendships.
The friendships.
The friendships you form along the way.
You know, I mean, for us, Karen is like part of family now. PRE is part of family.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it is.
Mhm.
Oh, that sounds very, very kind, and it's really lovely to hear people that appreciate what we do, because you know the team work really hard behind the scenes, and sometimes when there is a bump and a scrape, it's money, it's people's futures, so people take things pretty much to heart, and if there is a gap in trust because they're new and they're just learning, then hopefully a podcast like this will give them some confidence to make sure they do reach out to their coach and get that support, because I think one of the top tips that I really like that you guys said was, talk to your coach, make sure that your coach understands what's going on, because you're right, we can help 99% of the time, 99.99. There's an answer in there somewhere that we'll find for you.
It's interesting. You mentioned it early on that when someone says that, oh, I trust you, and you become defensive, but it has to be your own responsibility. Your success has to be your own responsibility. You can't just say to the coach, leave it. Yeah, here it is. You got to do your due diligence. You got to learn homework as well.
Yeah, 100%. And so we always say, if you're buying any investment, you do your due diligence. You mitigate your risk and you expect the best. Yeah, and it's that thing of absolutely Positive has your back. Positive will put in all of the work, all of the effort to get you guys or to get anyone a fantastic result, but you have to tie up your camels. Yeah, you've got to make sure that they don't go wandering off into the desert. You got to do your bit to look after, your own personal circumstances. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been lovely to have a chat, and thank you for all your kind words. They do mean a lot, and I know the team will watch these podcasts, and it makes a massive difference to them to hear clients feedback and to have the good feedback. So much appreciated. Successful investing, yes.
Thank you, and we thank PRE because
thank you.
We're lifelong fans, I think.
Well, right back at you. I know Karen, as soon as I said, guys, I need some more people to interview, she was like, you've got to interview these guys. So thank you so much for agreeing, and all the best. And no doubt I'll see you at the next mentoring workshop, which is coming up Monday.
Dr. Wilson.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to Property Investor Tales. Remember to subscribe so you get notified every time a new episode drops. As you can guess, I love hearing people's property investor tales. So if you'd like to share yours, then please get in touch with me via email at propertyinvestortales@positivementor.com.au. We would also love your feedback, and I would appreciate a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember, you can watch all of these podcasts over on YouTube at Positive Mentor or at positivementor.com.au. Until then, take care, happy investing, and bye for now.